Well, welcome to Robert's Train Set, everybody. And I think first of all I must thank all the new subscribers that have come on. I think I've had one a day for the last month, something like that. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. And here's update number 18. Now I'm outside, lovely day, and this is actually after I've spent quite a couple of days that have been really good weather out here, sorting out what I need to on the layout. So this video it's just about basically getting it up and to the state that it's in there now. So obviously the droppers, connecting the droppers up to the buzz bar. Any problems? Yes. The back scenes, gluing the back scenes on, and possibly at the end running a couple of locos. I'll have to see how the time goes. But all I've been doing is taking photos. So there's not an awful lot of video in this, but a lot of photos, which I'm not going to use a lot of, I don't think. Yeah, just follow me to see where we are now, basically. We're talking about Sunday the 12th of May. I'm filming this bit, but as I say, most of the work has already been done, or been done that's going to be in this video, let's put it that way. So cheers everybody, and a little bit for Steve at Route 7 Railway. He's sort of thinking of going the DCC route on his layout, and I think he was wondering about the points, and I've just got a little bit on what you need to make it work DCC all the way through the layout. Whether he wants to do that or not, I don't know. And what I'm proposing to do to remove the clips that you need to do that. So a little bit on that at the beginning. So everybody, that's about it, I think, for this. And I will do another one later. We'll have to see what I'm going to get up to next, won't we? Yes. Okay, bye. Well everybody, before you is a standard Hornby point, you know, bit tight, they can catch locos out and everything. And when you use these on DCC, you need these little clips in. Now I think Steve from Route 7 Railway is contemplating doing DCC on his layout, and if you want the whole layout to be usable without having to switch points, you need those clips in. But I don't want to do it on this layout, so you can take these out if you wire it up in a particular way. So I'll move this one out and get the next one. This is a US point, but I used it just to check that I was in the right ballpark. Now those clips, what they do is they transfer power from here to here when this switchblade is off, not touching that rail, because when that isn't touching that rail, with it being isolated here, it doesn't work. So by wiring that one in the red in this case, or in the black in this case, and feeding them to your bus, they are all energized. These are connected to that, and these are connected to that. Now I checked this all with the old little meter, you know, that buzzes. So yeah, so that's all I have to do. Now if you are putting those clips in, I'll say it's an acquired knack. When you first try and do it, it's a right pain, to be honest. And you need to open what they come in the packet. You need to open them up wider. I'll bring one in and show you. So I think you're already going to have a bit of trouble seeing this, but they're the clips and they're very fine. And I always literally just bend them really open quite a bit, like that, even more than that, and they clip in better. Well, I found they do with me. So if that helps you, Steve, there you are, sir. And I'm going to have a load of these over. Steve, that's how they're supposed to go in. Pretty easy once you get used to it. Right, so it's down to all the wires now, all the droppers. So I use these trusty tool that I bought, and it's 20 quid's worth well spent. It makes it so much easier. Absolutely super. And there we are, we've got this soldering iron ready. It's a cheap old thing, 8 quid from down the road. And I'm beginning to get my droppers ready there. I've got the blacks, as you can see. I do tin them at the end. And there's my reds, already tinned at the end. And then what I tend to do is just do a 90-degree sort of, this is a tinned end, and then I do a 90-degree bend on it to go up against the rail. There we are, using the plier. And it's quite stiff, and once you've soldered it, it's tinned, it's great. So then drill holes through the board where you want it, avoiding the cross members. And remember, you're only going into this sort of ½ an inch bit of softwood in between. So they were quite hard to put in, I must admit. And there's my ones for this point. And as I went along, I tended to take, as I put the droppers down, I tended to take the clips out. You can see them all there on the board. But you can see I'm getting on there. The reds are going in and working fine. There's some blacks as well, isn't there? So they don't look very pretty, but I needed to sort of bend them backwards and forwards. Now I had to slope the holes to get them to go through. So once I got them all in, I needed to solder them on the rails, and I've got all that gunge on the side, haven't I? The grime. So I just used this to clean it off, because I don't think they'd adhere very well, would they? And as you can see, I was getting there ready, and you can see how clean it is. And there's one done. I'm not very neat at this, I must admit. Yeah, not great at this. But as long as they connect, I don't really mind. And we'll lose some of it, obviously. So the next job, basically, is to get this outside while we've got 4 days of good weather, hopefully. And get it all connected up to the buzz wires. So that's the next job, I think. We'll see how we get on. We were ready to go out. You can see the tape where the cross members were. That's how I knew where roughly they were. And I'd moved it out and taken the screws out and got it ready to lift up. Now to lift this all up completely to there, which I did. It was all right. It's you need to sort of take your time and be careful. And then it was just a case of whipping all the screws out again, which is fine. And that's what I was met with. Yeah, great. But basically, you know, red to red, black to black. And as you can see, yeah. And I can see why they were so difficult to push through sometimes. Yeah. Not forgetting I've got to do this other point control rod, haven't I? So there's the hole for it. So mustn't forget that. And then it was a case of just joining in, really. Using that tool, you know, the blue tool. It really works well. So I then soldered them on, and then I thought I'd put some hot glue on them just to seal them all in. So that's, you know, and to hold the cables to the baseboard. So here's the new rod for controlling that point. I'd forgotten. And yes, it's a bit of a torturous route, but you can see it's coming on well. They're all connecting up, and I was quite pleased with this. So I had one last thicknesser to do under the under-track uncoupler, so I did that. It was pretty good. Well, everybody, I got the important bit, my mug of tea, and it's about 20 to 2 in the afternoon. And bearing in mind he only started this at about, I don't know, 9 o'clock, 8:30 this morning. It's been surprisingly quick, hasn't it? I've now got all my droppers connected. And if you notice, I've actually hot glued them in as well, just to give them a seal. I've also sealed this joint down here that was never really glued. And I've also got in my last point operating rod, which is a bit of a torturous route, but it does work, although it is quite stiff. but it may well loosen up with use. I'll put some oil in it before I put the lid on. But I am actually basically ready for my lid now, or you know, my under panel, and then it will be popping off to try and sort out the back scene, or at least the back scene boards. But we've got a couple of 3 or 4 days of really good weather, so it was a no-brainer to get it done. So it might look complicated, but actually this was so much easier than upstairs because I didn't have to get it into the right place for the numbers, you know. So it was just as long as you did the red to the red and the black to the black, or in this case blue and sort of I don't know, brown, isn't it really? But yeah, and we're there. So quite happy with this, I must admit. As you can see, it's quite hot, and this actually does underread a bit, this one. So another day dawned bright and clear, and no rain forecast for today or tomorrow, and maybe the following day. So we'll get back to the layout. So the first thing I wanted to try, the old bit of back scene, the ID back scene from up in the loft, the one that's on the back of the back scene, I stuck it onto a bit of this ply that I've got to use. And it looks to be okay. So I am progressing with the boards, and what I've decided is, well, the biggest decision is I'm going to split the board here, because that's where that original back scene is going to go, along here. But I thought it was a bit too far away and whatever, so I've actually made this board smaller in height. So this was actually the offcut that I was supplied with from my full board, and I've cut it down a bit, so we'll see what it looks like when the back scene is on. I'm also going to, this is where it screws onto the base, and I'm actually going to run the back scene right down to the bottom there to lose a bit more of that sort of courtyardy area. So that's that bit. So here I have now got the new back scene to go on this bit, and I'll show you that a little later. But this will actually grow up higher because the back scene does not take to being reduced really. So that higher bit will go along here and along here. And I'm hoping it will sort of, I can blend something in. Now I've just been answering some of the comments on my last one, or yeah, you know, the one with this build, which I appreciate greatly. And yeah, John from Piccadilly was saying, well, some trees might help disguise where the viaduct goes. So we'll have to see how that works out. But thank you, John. But as I said in my reply, space is at a bit of a premium, isn't it? We'll see. So let's go outside now and I'll just show you what I plan to do. So I've set up my little tables, which are really good. They're really light and easy to move around. And I've got this wider, the original back scene board really. So I just need to cut that into the bit that I need it for. So I'll get on with that, and I'll cut myself off a bit, didn't I? Anyway, yeah, so I was getting on, getting all these bits of ply ready really, and I think it's going to work out well. The cut outs are to go over the wires that come out each end, you know, to be connected up if required and whatever. And then I drilled it ready for screwing onto the baseboard. Which was, I just put lots of screws in really, because I might hit another screw, you know. Now, the corners, I wanted to put something solid there rather than just tape them like I did upstairs. So I had this bit of angle timber, but it wasn't thick enough to take a 1/2 inch screw with the thickness of the ply. So I glued these bits in, and then as you can see, I've glued it. Well, I didn't glue it, I just screwed it, and I tried to just keep the heads flush. I didn't fill them or anything. And the idea was that the end ones would just slot in there like that. Look neat enough, doesn't it? You know, you hardly see this, of course. And then yeah, that's how it looks, the construction. If you can work that out. With all the boards fitted, so to speak, it was to get the back scenes actually glued on. Now, if you remember, I did try a piece on to see how it glued, and this is the premium one with the sticky back. So I made a start on that one, and I sort of held it in place, as you can see, with the cramps and bits of board, and then slowly peeled it back. I still don't like the backing; it rips too easy. It's quite a pain in the neck, to be honest. But I got it on. I don't think I got too many creases in it. You'll have to see the finished result, and then work my way through really. And then it was a case of doing the other one that had to be glued on. So here's my high tack glue that I've found, and the original is what I've used for the track and for doing the bridge. But the thin one is what I used for this thing, and you don't need to put a load on. So got them all done. And then I had to turn the board over so that I could screw them on, which I did. And then I had to carry it in. Now I was going to get help, but I didn't. So what did I do? I managed to make a bit of damage. I pulled the whole of these out from the layout and pulled the knob off the front of it. There's the knob, all loose. So what did I have to do? I had to tip it up on the underframe and open it up again. So yeah, tipped it up. So it's sitting actually on the back scenes, which I thought it would do, and it worked well. It was all right. So yeah, back again into the gubbins and see what I've flaming done this time. Just shows, doesn't it? Patience sometimes. So yeah, I literally ripped it right out from the sleeves, and to do that, it actually flattened the 90-degree bend that went into the point. Now, luckily it came out, but didn't actually damage the point, which is great. Luck was with me. So I managed to get it all in again, put it back in, with a bit of fiddling with a mirror to see where I was going and whatever. But yeah, I got it in, and it seemed to work, so that's good. And while I was there, I noticed one of the ones on the double point that was sort of loosish a bit. So I put some more gunge there, as you can see, make it a bit stronger. And I put all the base back on again. Great. So I tipped it up the right way, connected up my computer, turned it on, and what happened? I had a dead short. So I had to take it all back again and take it all off. And find out what I'd flaming well done. And it was obviously only a simple thing. I did make sure I took all the stock off and everything so it wasn't that. And spot the deliberate mistake. The blue is the black and the brown is the red. So just cut these off and redid them. There we are. Right way round, and it all was well. Now, I have been doing this on my new computer, and it's not without its problems, so I will do another video on that. But needless to say, I used the old one for this, make sure the sound worked, and then I was happy. So let's now go and have a look at a few photos that I took of the completed back scenes and everything, and let me know what you think. I'm reasonably happy. I don't think I've integrated it too well, but you know, I'm a learner at this, aren't I? But yeah, you know, I've sort of adapted it as I thought, really. Now this corner, I was hoping that the bridge would aim towards the end of that building, but it hasn't quite worked out. But we'll have to see how we go.